Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Robo Celestial here with a new video for you. Welcome to the part 3 of What If Deku Got One for All Early Season 2. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So, we begin. Izuku stands there in awe looking at All Might. Huh? The younger All Might repeats his question. How are you? Young Midoriya. I'm doing alright, I guess. Midoriya tears up a bit after being able to see All Might again. Are you sure? Your body is not doing so well. Is it Midoriya? Midoriya shakes his head. You did my job better than I did, young Midoriya. But sadly it came at a greater cost than my fight did. You remember my injury, don't you? Yes, I do, All Might. I sustained the injury fighting the same villain you did, Midoriya. His name is All For One, our sworn enemy. He has the ability to give and take quirks at will. Our job as pillars is to defeat him. Midoriya interrupts All Might. That doesn't matter to me. I only wish to be a true hero. A hero that everyone can rely on, just like you, All Might. All Might waved his hand over the young hero. Suddenly Midoriya is overseeing how the original user of One For All received the quirk. When All For One, his own brother, gave it to him, the original user turned towards Izuku. He had a look of sorrow in his face. Wielders of One For All were known amongst themselves as the damned, a means to an end, most living out short lives, Nana Shimura and Tashinori being the exception, however. This kid before him may have just lit the way for the forsaken destinies that follow. You poor child. To think another quirkless soul would be condemned to such a fate as this. The pale and frail figure meandered loose-limbed towards the brat. Though, it seems your fate turned brighter than most. An uncanny circumstance you could call it. I look forward to seeing how the merits of heroism will push your journey forward. He lunged his arm straight through Izuku's torso, regardless of his arm reaching elbow deep. There was no hand on the other side. Midoriya still struggled to gasp for air, as if the arm suffocated him from the inside. Do us proud, young hero. Thank you for releasing my brother from his sins. Izuku's eyes sprung open as his lungs shook wildly with the hyperventilation that he was undergoing. His hand was gripped tight along his chest, squeezing his shirt to calm down. It didn't take long for Izuku's eyes to adjust to his pigsty of a room. Izuku glanced at the walls to the side of his All Might posters shredded to bits. His eyes swelled up with tears. Goodbye, All Might. A few knocks emanate from his bedroom door ringed in Deku's ears. Inko was on the other side. Izuku, sweetie. I heard a lot of noises. Are you okay? Izuku subconsciously stood up despite his handicapped state and gently nudged the door open, revealing a sliver of his room. Before revealing his face, he wiped his tears. Why yeah, I'm fine, Mom. Izuku was in no mood to feel pathetic around his mother. He began walking away back to his bed. Inko developed tears as they flowed down her eyes seeing her Izuku walk again. Izuku, you are walking. Midoriya then looks at his legs in awe and tries to take a step and stumbles. Midoriya's mother runs toward him to help him. Midoriya uses his mother as a crutch until he gets to his bed. Midoriya's mother tells him to rest. There are still a couple of hours until morning. Midoriya goes back to sleep and this time he just has a normal dream. A couple of days go by and Midoriya attends Bakugo's court case. He is there. Some heroes are testifying saying that Bakugo should end up in Tartarus prison. Eraserhead is called to the stand. Prosecutor. Do you know this boy? Yes, he used to be one of my students. And why isn't he in your class anymore? He was expelled. Under what grounds? The first day he caused a commotion in class. He didn't seem to have an attitude fitting of a hero. So I decided to expel him. I now realize that was a mistake. He was one of the villains that attacked the USJ, correct? Firstly, I wouldn't categorize Bakugo as a villain. However, because of frustration, he was recruited into attacking the USJ, yes. No further question. Your Honor, the defense comes close to the stand and asks Aizawa, why do you think expelling Bakugo was a mistake? I saw firsthand how that kid did everything he could to both defeat the villain no single hero could ever hope to defeat and keep Midoriya safe. That is a hero. So why exactly wouldn't you categorize Bakugo as a villain? As I stated previously, he would do anything to defeat the villain, the enemy. He has a good sense of morals. But since he was expelled, he got frustrated in seeing Midoriya as his enemy. For whatever reasons he was coerced into attacking the USJ. Moments later, Endeavor is asked by the defense, what exactly made you give the two boys, both Midoriya and Bakugo, permission to fight and use their quirks? The two boys were already fighting the villain and seemed to know more of how to deal with the situation than I did. They also seemed pretty capable of taking care of themselves and powerful enough to hold their own, so I gave them permission to fight and use their quirks. It seems like the right decision in retrospect. They defeated the villain. Even if I lost my quirk in the process, the day was saved and the villain defeated. I got a better end to my career than All Might did. Thank you. A little later, Bakugo is called in as a witness and they ask Bakugo, why did you attack the USJ? Why did you leave the League of Villains? To be perfectly honest, maybe I deserve to go to jail, but to answer your question, I was very angry. Deku had just manifested a quirk and I was kicked out of my dream school. I was extremely angry, and on my way home I started using my quirk subconsciously and destroyed some property. This got All Might to arrest me. I had lost everything I had worked for. Everything I felt belonged to me, and I was suddenly in a room with the man in the suit. He offered me the opportunity to get back at those who have wronged me, and I took it. I wish I didn't, because of me, All Might was killed. Once I realized this, he appeared again and said he had a gift for me. A little later, I ran away from home so he couldn't find me anymore. After Bakugo is done answering questions, the defense says, I call Izuku Midoriya to the stand. Bakugo left the stand. As he walked, he focused all his will to avert his gaze from Izuku. Izuku answered the atmosphere in kind by doing the same. Bakugo wiped off the rest of the tears he displayed. And Izuku sat down in front of the court. How do you know the accused? I have known Bakugo since we were little. We were childhood friends until he manifested his quirk and went to the same school until he got expelled from UA. Would you call Bakugo a villain? No, I wouldn't. He may have made the wrong choices and he has been manipulated by All for One, but Ka-chan more than anybody I know wants to be a hero. He just sometimes lets his emotions get the best of him. I know Ka-chan better than this. He's not what you're making him out to be. Are those wounds and scars because of Bakugo? Not exactly, they were caused by the fight against the villain. I gave everything I had and wouldn't defeat him without Ka-chan's help. He more than anyone deserves to be a hero. The defense then says no further questions. Your Honor, the jury then goes to decide Bakugo's fate. An hour later, the jury came out. The judge asks them, what have you decided? A member of the jury says, we the jury find the accused Katsuki Bakugo. Everybody is at the edge of their seats. Not guilty. The members who were rooting for him got very excited. Endeavor puts his hand on Bakugo's shoulder and tells him, good job, boy. You are now free to become a hero. I will be keeping an eye on you, though, to make sure you don't stray out of the path of a hero. Bakugo nods thank you. Eraserhead then tells Bakugo, well, now that is done with, I want to offer you a deal. You would be joining us at UA in the hero course next semester. You would have to go to a remedial class until the start of the next semester. Would you be willing to do this? Yes, Bakugo replies with no hesitation. He has always wanted this. Eraserhead, great. However, you will be on probation for a long time. You slip up or do anything out of line and we will have to expel you again. Do you still want to pursue this opportunity? Yes. I won't let you down. Aizawa smiles. Good. He then turns to Midoriya. What's up with you? Midoriya jumps a bit looking at Aizawa. You are looking a lot better. I hope your condition keeps improving. Also, shouldn't you be in school? Midoriya takes out a note. I had the school give me permission to come here. I needed to do this. I needed to be here. Now that the trial is over, let's go celebrate. Is that okay with you, Ka-chan? Katsuki kept his back turned away from Izuku. He nodded without saying a word. Eraserhead, Bakugo, and Izuku go out to eat to celebrate this bittersweet occasion. The next day, Midoriya returned to class. Aizawa walked in the classroom and said that they will be choosing hero names and internships. Midoriya goes up on the stand. It was nerve-wracking to display the name he had written down. He simply raised the sign up with great determination. Deku was all that was written. The rest of the class displayed their names, picking fun at each other or being shot down by midnight. Bakugo didn't even bother going up. How could he? They were each handed their internship pamphlets. Midoriya's body was still damaged. He ended up with 25 offers, though his lack of interest for most of them dissuaded Izuku from the excitement he would normally feel from such opportunity. Midoriya, after a lot of thinking, narrows his options down to two: Gran Torino, All Might's mentor, or Night Eye's agency. He remembers the card that the short old man gave him at the funeral. However, after much deliberation, Midoriya ultimately decides to go with Night Eye's agency. Ada's desire for vengeance dimmered quickly, so his choice ultimately fell onto Air Jet. The Buster hero, Todoroki, went with the armored hero Yoramusha. The day of the internships came fast and Midoriya goes to Night Eye's agency and presents himself. He is surprised to see Mirio there and asks Mirio if he is also there for the workplace experience. No, I have a temporary hero license and work here on the regular. Night Eye interrupts them. While Midoriya is here, Mirio, you will be training him in combat and they will also be showing him the ropes of being a hero, the most useful information and how it's actually like. Izuku, excuse me, but I don't understand. I have done plenty of combat training against All Might. I already know how to fight. Shouldn't I be focusing on other things instead? Such insolence. Perhaps UA has raised you brats to be cocky, not heroes. Midoriya hesitated to speak up against him, realizing he insulted his judgment. Night Eye simply adjusted his specs along the bridge of his nose. Well, if you really think you can do as you say, prove it to me. Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would just like to let you know that We the Celestials has many other channels for your entertainment and viewing purposes. All the information you'll need is right below here in the description, so feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. That's all for today's video. So goodbye and have a divine day.